Whether you're a rider, groom, owner, or simply obsessed with all things equine, this podcast is for you. The curious, the dedicated, the horse geeks. Each episode will bring you behind the scenes of equine veterinary medicine with expert voices from Netherlands Pferdekliniek and beyond. We dive deep into the science and practical know-how that help horses thrive. This is your trusted source for equine knowledge, straight from the people who live it every day. Learn more to care better.
Today we do our podcast in English. I'm blessed and honored to have a chat with Patrick Borg. He's the owner of Borg Events. His profession is that he is the leading stable manager on FEI events, and he is also here at the final of the EEF tour today and the whole week in Environ, Switzerland. And he's willing to give us some insights of his profession and of his project. So thank you, Patrick, that you take the time to talk about this with me. Let's start briefly. Give us some introduction, who you are and what you are doing.
Hello everybody, so my name is Patrick Borg. I'm the owner of Borg Events. It's a company who are in charge the stabling and the different process for the arrivals, departure, the flow of the trucks when they arrive, when they go to the park, and all these points are really important for the show, because we need to take in charge all times the security of the horses. So it's a little company. Actually, we are 10 in the company. We have 102 events this year in charge.
102 events.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes, and we work everywhere, all around the world. We have a lot of contracts in Asia, in America, and a lot of in Europe, of course.
But you only exclusively do FEI events?
No. We work, it's a lot of events that we have in charge, of course, with the FEI. But we have few national shows, and we work little bit with the Western, not so much, but one horse is one horse. But 98% of our events, it's international event under the control of the FEI.
And how did you first get involved in the equestrian sport and event management?
Oh, the first one, I have 14 years old in Bourg-en-Bresse. I am volunteers. I have 51 actually, and I do this job until a professional, until 20 years actually.
Okay, cool, very cool. I mean, I got lots of respect for your professionalism, and it was a pleasure to work with you, because it is very well done, and you always keep the respect and a nice way of communication from the first to the last moment. So what inspired you to start Borg Events, and how did you grow into working with international events?
Like I said to you, the first one, I have 14 years old, and for me it's a passion. So this kind of job, we need to have passion. And at 25 years old, I have few friends organize few shows and ask me to take in charge the stables. So I have different job. I am before a sales manager for a big company in America. I sell flour, but I win my cash and I have my passion. So I ride on horses and I organize few shows with my friends.
And you didn't have so much passion for this, it sounds like.
Yeah, and after it's 2 shows, 3 shows, 5 shows, and at 10 shows, I said, probably we need to do something. And we organize this company and try to help the organizer for this part, because this part needs a lot of time. And the organizer, for me, they need to stay focused on the sport. They need to stay focused with the sponsor and the rider. So the stables and all this back office, you need to have a lot of time for organize correctly something. So if one company like mine take in charge these points, we can help them a lot of.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree. So let's go a little to your daily responsibilities that our listeners can benefit from your experience. What does a stable manager actually do at an FEI event? Walk us through a typical day for you during an FEI event. I mean, probably there are changes between day 1 and day 5 or 6.
Yeah, so we have different steps for each show. Depends each level we have. For the Olympic Games, for example, it's 2 years before we start to work on the show. For a regular one, for the first year, it's one year before, and after it's 2 or 3 months when it's the show come back all the years. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. Years after years. So the first step is we work on plan with the OC. For look, where are the stables, what is the best flow for the trucks, for the horses, and for all the rest. Mm-hmm. If I have the guy who come for the kitchen all the morning in the stables area because we have just one way, for me it's not possible, it's too dangerous for everybody. So we take all these points and we work on the plan. When we find a good options, we can go in the details, check which kind of stables, which kind of bedding, etc., etc. All we need in the stable, which kind of fire extinguisher, for example. Just one small example. If you use a powder extinguisher in the stable, it's not good for the horses because they block the hairs because it's not the same size for human and horses. Yes. So we need to be careful at all these details because if we have any trouble, the detail is not a details.
Yes.
So we work on all this plan and try to do the best. Like that, when the OC can start to work for organize the show, he have all in their hand for organize for the best.
So you are ensuring already months before the show that you have a beneficial atmosphere for the horses and you ensure biosecurity, comfort, and all these things already months in front of the show.
Exactly. We need to keep in mind all the rules of the FEI because it's one really important point. So we need to follow them, and we need to find all time the good balance. But all the decisions are for the horses first. If we keep this point in mind, every horseman that we have everywhere for different level of the show, everybody understands you and you can explain your decision.
Of course. So what kind of team do you usually work with and how do you coordinate everyone?
The team is really important. If you have a good team, you can manage. Actually, we manage 4 shows per week. It's the maximum that we can organize. We need to have all-time people who know the horses. We need to have people who have the driving license for the truck. Because when you do park a lot of trucks, if you never drive a trucks, you can't understand, you can't explain.
So you sometimes help the arriving people to park the truck.
Exactly. And when you arrive and you have the venue completely empty, we say all the time we have a lot of space. But the reality, at the end, we have never enough. So it's for this reason, we need to have under control all these points. And for that, for me, the best profile, it's all grooms who work like grooms. They know a lot of venue. They see a lot of process. They drive the truck all night and arrive in the little morning at the show. So they know exactly what our client, because our client are the grooms, not the rider. You can understand what they want and you can have a positive answer all times. And like I said just before, if all the things that we have in our mind is for the horses, everybody approved.
And what are the biggest logistical challenges in managing stables for international competitions?
We have different kind of show and we have different kind of work. If you organize the Olympic Games, we are lucky because we work for Tokyo and Rio, or the Weighing Learning, this kind of show. You have a lot of people who can help you. You have a lot of cash flow. So you can do the best before for them. But for this kind of show, the details are really, really important. It's the most important show of the year, of the 2 years, the WEG and the Olympic Games. And the pressure is so difficult for my kind of job. Because you need to be focused on all the points in the same moment. We need to control all the points. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. And
let's make a small example. Where are the boxes coming from?
We are lucky because in Tokyo and Rio it's permanent stables. We built the stables for the event.
Okay, but as a show like here or regular when you are traveling, when you have 102 shows a year, you don't have exclusively permanent stables.
For sure not. It's what I want to explain. Because for the Olympics and the biggest show, you have a lot of cash flow, so you can't build permanent stables. And for a 3-star show or regular 5 stars, we provide stables and we help the organizer, but we don't pay.
Of course, but you organize this.
We help them, of course. We give him a plan. And we say, you can choose in your country this or this provider.
And you have contact to these providers that you have for sure enough boxes and that they are cleaned and disinfected.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to be careful. And after we have the show like the GCT in the middle of the city. And it's not the same approach.
Yes.
For the same result, of course. But when we are in the middle of Paris, Rome, Stockholm, London, it's completely different. In Avanches, for example, we have a lot of space. So it's not so difficult. But where you are in the middle of the city, it's not the same approach.
Okay. How do you ensure horses' welfare and biosecurity when horses from all over the world come together?
The most important, when we work on one show, we have the stable manager team, but we work with a lot of people. We work with the steward, with the vet. And if we don't work all together in the same way, it's not working. So we need to push for the horses in the same way with all the people who work for the arrivals and for the horses. For me, this point is really important. I don't know how many sports without equestrian sport where we have 5 vets for 300 horses. I never see 5 doctors for 300 vets. So we need to work all in the same way. And just for give you one answer, we developed one app. We have one own app. But everybody need to go in the same way. And everybody need to play with this app. So we give tools to the grooms. Like that, they can book a slot for the arrivals, for example. We say, I want, for example, 5 trucks all the 45 minutes. In Avanches, for example, we have a booking for 8 trucks all the 45 minutes. Because when we see the venue, after it's the experience.
So I can say from my point of view, I've found your way very professional and beneficial for all the included and involved parties, and we were getting in contact already a few days before the show started. So we knew, you and me, we knew exactly what was the plan, and this is something that I appreciated a lot. I think it is not always 100% the case, but this your way of professionalism is very well appreciated and very good. Can you share a memorable situation where something unexpected happened and how you and your team solved it?
We have a lot of points. A few times, you know, the weather changed in this moment. So I have few shows where I have a big rain Last year in south of France, I have 1 meter, 20 centimeters of water in the stables, for example, and we need to find the good solutions quickly for the horses, of course. 4 years, 5 years before, probably in Valencia, when we work with the French Federation, when we have a big case of Rhino and a lot of horses are a huge problem. And after we are really good souvenir.
So it's all about connection, talking to the people and finding a quick, sufficient solution.
We need to, if we have the respect of the people, and if we want that the people follow our decision, we need to take one decision. When we take this decision, we never know if it's a good one or not.
Okay. So, some words about horse and rider experience. What measures do you take to measure sure horses are comfortable and stress-free during the events?
We see them. Normally, if the OC apply all our requests, it's okay.
So the OC is the organization committee, just as a quick hint in between.
After, we need to adapt ourselves all times and find the good solutions. And we are completely open with the grooms. It's just not one way for the communications. We take the information and we give information to them. And for all the groom, the 5 stars groom, because we have a lot of show like that, they can come and complain, but it's not a complaint, you see.
It's a critic to improve.
Exactly. And if everybody, all the people who work in the stables, the groom, the rider, the vet, work like that, for me it's so easy. Because we can adapt and take the good way all times. It is not one straight line, our job. We work with animals.
Okay, so do riders, maybe not, but grooms have specific requests, and how do you balance them with your standardized rules?
We are completely open with the steward again. And the stewards are here for control the welfare of the horses and the rules of the FEI. We are here for find the best way for everybody. Few times we are a little bit borderline, but we are under rules. But we are here for the horses. And it's animals. So few times one horse is so quiet and we don't understand why. He can come completely crazy in 2 minutes. Why? Nobody knows. But we need to find an option for that.
So once more, communication and stress-free decision-making in a team. Or stress-resistant.
Yeah, exactly, is the good word. Because few times we have a lot of stress, but nobody need to see that.
Yes. I recognize this. It's quite good. It was visible and detectable that you are controlling the stress level and that you are balancing this very nicely, and the way of your politeness for communication always stayed straight and calm. I mean, lots of respect for this. I like this a lot. Behind the scenes at an FEI event, what's something that public or even riders might not realize about the work that goes into stable management?
We don't have any school for that. In my company, when I train one guy, he just arrived, I need 3 years to become a stable manager for 3 stars, so medium level. A stable manager for Olympic Games, for me, it's a minimum 5-6 years.
Just to have enough experience for
Exactly.
troubleshooting.
Exactly.
And to benefit from the connections all over the world.
Exactly. And it's one guy who knows the horses before he arrives.
Yes, of course.
He's not one guy who never see one horse, one truck. So it's a really difficult job because you have a lot of pressure. The pressure of the sport, because we make a big sport, and it's good or not good. It's not me who's take position for that. We have money and money and money and more money. So for me, it's a benefit. Because if we have money in our sport, the people who work in the sport can have few benefits.
Are there any special considerations depending on the discipline? Meaning, do you recognize differences between dressage, jumping and eventing?
Yes, we have a few differences. 87%, I suppose, we work for the jumping.
It's the main difference is, of course, more horses at any event.
Exactly, it's for this reason. We have few eventing show, few dressage show, and like I said to you, few other discipline, but it's not so much. And yeah, the jumping, we have a lot of horses, a lot of time, so a medium size, it's 350 horses. The biggest event is 220 horses, but we have a lot of show with 700 horses. So, for sure, for this kind of show, they need professional.
So what are the biggest shows that you organize?
Biggest show, level, how many horses?
Yes.
But the biggest show for me
Biggest for level and amount of horses.
The biggest one of number of horses, it's le Salon du Cheval. 5-6 years before, it's 3,500 horses. Because we have a lot of rotation, we have one area for the international, one area for the show horses, one area for the national horses. So this one is a really big logistic. And after the biggest event for the sport, it's the Olympic or the WEG.
Okay. And how do you work usually with the vets and the stewards?
We do. It's really important. It's really important to have a really good communication, open our mind, listen to people, because everybody is different. Everybody knows the rules so good, so we need to listen them for find the best way for everybody.
So let's look at before we come to the end, let's look a little forward. How has stable management changed at the top level events over the past years, and you think how it will change?
Yeah, a lot of modification, a lot of changes. What I can say, 12 years, 15 years before, it's the organizer, one guy in the office, who makes the stable plan, for example. And they make in the stable good volunteers who speak a little bit English and give in the plan and say just apply. If the grooms want to buy shavings or something like that, they go to the office, they have a ticket and they come back to the stables. Actually, we change all the organizations. The stables are independent. The stable manager takes the request of the grooms in direct. The stable manager makes the stable plan and have under his control all the financial part of the stables.
Do you see any new technologies or practices emerging that will make stable management more efficient or host-friendly or customer-friendly?
Exactly. Yes, please for the customer, that for the horses.
Yes,
for
both.
This point.
Yes, both.
My position, we develop one app for have all the information in direct. The people can book for their rivals. They can book a slot for the lounge, for example. And all this development is for them. The stable manager, when we start the rivals, you have one truck arrive with the horses. And if nobody booked, you can have 20 trucks in the same moment. This line of waiting of the trucks don't change the job of the stable manager. But for the horses, we need to do the best for them. And all the good grooms understand this point. So they book a slot, And then when they arrive, the horses don't wait so long time in the trucks. It's the same for the lounge. If you book before, you arrive, your slot is empty, you can lounge, and you don't wait 20 minutes, 1 hour in front of the gate.
So planning is easier and
Exactly.
reliability is improved.
Exactly, and we have a lot of requests because all the horses are different. Few horses need air, few horses need more space in the stables. So we need to take all the requests and apply the request in the stable for them.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to get involved in the equestrian event management world? Maybe contact you, huh?
I don't know. Just before, you need to know that our job, it's like I said in the beginning, it's a passion job. So if you want to work 8 hours per day, don't come. We start the morning when the show is cool at 7, but normally it's 5:30, and we start at 10:30, 11.
If the show allows this, because the stable opening times are for sure the times, at least the working times of the stable management.
Exactly.
Usually it's at least 6 to 11 o'clock in the night.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. We open the stable. Yes. In this timing, because we have a rules, we need to have the horses off light, of person, and blah 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 during 7 hours. So we apply that. But yes, they can contact me, of course, or they can go in the show that they are near them and ask them if they want help. For me, if you start like a volunteers on one show, big show, you can see what is the job. Probably you can't all understand, but you can imagine which kind of job we have. It's really interesting job because we have in charge the horses. We have a lot of contacts with different people who come from everywhere. In Environ, for example, we have 15, I suppose, different countries, little bit more probably. We have
10 different teams.
Yeah.
For the Nations
Sri
Cup,
Lanka,
and then
a few riders like that.
Yes.
So you see different people who come from everywhere. So it's not the same logic. It's not the same
mentality.
Exactly, thanks. But it's really interesting because we are not close in our small world.
So it is not enough to like horses.
No.
You have to like people, otherwise you are in trouble.
Of course, our job is like a groom in the hotel. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of requests. Patrick, do you know a taxi? Where I can find a Uber? Do you know this restaurant? Can you find green for my horses because in my truck I don't have enough. I need the vet for this point. So we need to help them all times. When the people arrive on the show, the horses and the groom, the first people that they see, it's the stable manager. If it's all under control or looks all under control, the people suppose that the show is good. If when the truck and the horses arrive and it's bad organizations, they suppose that all the show is like that. So our point is really important for that. And if we have a request and we can give a good answer, probably a few times we can't. But if we can help them, at the end, it's positive for everybody.
What is your favorite event in the moment that stands out in your career so far? I mean, not maybe on any year, but in general, which is or was the favorite event that you like?
It's really difficult to give you a good answer because all are clients. Mm-hmm. And after you have the indoor show, outdoor show, you have one discipline show just for jumping, for example. We have multidiscipline show. So for this reason, for me, I try to do the best for all the show. If I say I prefer this one, in my mind, I say, this one is not so good. So I don't want to to look in this way. For me, I want to do the best for all the show, for the horses, for all the show. So I don't want to say one moment in my life, oh, I need to go to this one. It's not the best one. I don't like that. So I don't want to have this one in my mind. For me, all is my job. For sure, you go in Italy, the food is really perfect. You go in Switzerland, all the people are so quiet and sympathetic. You need to see all time the positive point everywhere.
So we were exchanging a little and you were explaining how much traveling is implicated in your job. I mean, you're traveling around the world. So the passion for the horse, for the show is understandable, but you have to invest so much effort for this. How do you keep your passion for doing this? Have you any kind of recipe what you are doing behind?
No, love the job, love the horses. It's really interesting at the end of the show when the groom say to you, super job, thanks and bye, see you soon. When the people of the OC or the vet or the people who work together, just a small word, a small smile. You see what I mean?
Yes.
We don't work, it's not a job. If you want to win a lot of money, don't come. No, like a stable manager. But we have a lot of positive point all times. When everybody's happy, when the horses looks good, honestly, you make the job.
So let's finalize. You have to go on. We all have to go on. The show is proceeding anyway with the Nations Cup. What's your last point? Give us your take-home message. What you like, what you prefer, what you want to tell the people.
I want to take a few examples in my company. I have few people who work with me. Like I said to you, they need to know horses. But the last 2 years, I have one guy who developed the plan for the Dassault system. Mm-hmm. And now he works with me. I have a girl who's before is an architect. Now she works with me. Because it's outside door. You see, outside job, sorry. And the people who work inside all time, few time, they don't find a good balance for themselves. Mm-hmm. And in our job, we work outside, we have contact with people and animals, and we have a lot of things that we do on the computer. So we need to have a really good logic, because we have a lot of reports for the steward, for the vet, for the main jury, and we don't have time for lose time. So we have a lot of process. It's after 20 years that we developed this process. Mm-hmm. So if everybody follow this process, it's really simple.
So you can adapt this for your own situation.
And it's for this reason, when you have people who are really good in their mind, know the horses, like to work outdoor. Few times it's difficult, few times it's really cold. When you go in Erning in January, it's really cold. When you go in the south of France, in Gulf Caribbean country, it's really hot in the summer. So we need to adapt ourselves about that. But at the end, amazing job.
Thank you to share your passion. Thank you to take this time. Thank you to give us some insight. It was a big, big pleasure. And thank you for this nice podcast with you, Patrick. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, and see you soon.
Thank you for joining us for this conversation with Patrick Borg. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't hesitate to share it with a friend, client, or colleague who might benefit from it. And make sure to follow PKN Podcast so you don't miss any future episodes on equine health and well-being. Until next time, thank you for listening.